kicking up dust on a rick house floor. Charred oak whispers we can't ignore. Stories in the mash, fire in the grain. Raise up your glass, feel that bourbon flame. We're the bourbon legends, let the spirit flow. From the backwoods stills to tonight's big show. Every drop a story, every sip that's drowned. We're bourbon legends, let's throw it down. Let's throw it down. From Kentucky hills to the neon lights, we're talking small batch days and whiskey nights. Tasting the past in every pour. Gonna carve our names on the distiller's door. We're the bourbon legends, let the spirit flow. From the backwoods stills to tonight's big show. Every drop a story, every sip that's drowned. We're bourbon legends, let's throw it down. Let's throw it down. Raise 'em high, feel the fire. Clinking glasses, lifting higher. One more toast to the ones before and the legends we're making forevermore. We're the bourbon legends, let the spirit flow. From the rick house walls to your front row. Every drop a story, every sip a crown. We're bourbon legends, come gather round. Come gather round. Come gather round.
Hey everybody, nothing like a Thursday night solo here in the studio by myself, and damn, I can't get anything to work. I'm pushing buttons. I'm like, where's everybody at? There's nobody in here. I don't know what's going on. And then all of a sudden, like an angel from the sky, I see I have people in the background here. I see that I have 15 people watching the show right off the bat. 2 seconds ago, I had nothing. I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to throw in the towel. I'm going to drink all night and get fucked up drunk. But you know what? I'm not going to do that now. What I am going to do is I'm going to welcome everybody to the show tonight. I hope we're going to have a good show because, I don't know. We're winging this one. We don't have Roger with us. We don't have Will with us. But I tell you who we do have with us. We have Anthony Eckert. You guys know Anthony. Hey, Anthony, what's up, man?
What's up, Craig? How are you, sir? What's up, guys? How are
Man,
y'all?
I don't know what's going on, dude. Like you were listening. I was sitting there in the background texting you. I'm like, Aaron's a no-show. Like nobody's on the show. And then all of a sudden it just like pops up and everybody's on the show. So go figure.
Technology, it's just a fad. It's not here to stay.
Right? I mean, I tell people all the time, it's like, be on early, like 15 to 20 minutes early so we can work out issues. And what happens? It's issues on my end, I guess. So anyway, Aaron, I know you're in the background. We're going to bring you on. Give me about 5 or 10 minutes. Got a few little things I need to tie up. That's pretty much all I was going to tell you anyway. So, what do you know, Anthony? I'm glad it's close to the weekend.
Me too. I'm ready for it. It's been a long week.
What are you going to do this weekend? Hang out on the water?
Probably so. Yeah, we're going to try to take advantage of one more weekend of the summer. One of my kids is already back at school, and the other one's going back next week. So we're going to take advantage of the last weekend of summer and
doesn't that
try to
seem
stay
like
cool.
it's early going back to school, like early August, or is that just the norm now?
Maumelle Charter goes back the first week of August, and they get out a couple weeks early. So I don't know which one's nicer. I'd say going longer in the spring is probably better
Well,
because
you
the
know,
teachers.
when we went to school there at the good old Catholic school there in Conway, I don't know about you, but when I went to school there was no air conditioning.
Um,
Did
I had air
you
conditioning. I'm a
you went?
little younger.
Okay, well,
We still went to school in the trailers, but they had air
okay.
conditioning.
Y'all are shitting in high cotton over there, man. Hey, let's do a little bit of talking before we bring Aaron on. First thing I wanted to talk about was like, dude, you're a distributor, right? What is this whole shift to THC, man? Are you feeling the effects of that?
Well, I think we talked about it last time I was on the call. Is that our industry's got so many headwinds, and this is probably arguably the number one thing outside of GLP-1 drugs. But medicinal and recreational marijuana has been threatening our industry for years, and I say threatening. If I take my distributor hat off, I could probably sit here and argue that it's obviously a much better vice for you if consumed correctly and used correctly. But at the same time, people are turning to it more. We're learning versus having a glass of wine or a bottle of whiskey or a bottle of wine or a couple cocktails at night. So
Right.
and
Well, now,
this article that came out this week that says more people are consuming now than alcohol is pretty eye opening.
and I mean, look at it's well as tobacco use. I mean, it's like that's the thing of choice right now is marijuana in general, not just THC. I mean, this was just about marijuana too. So, yeah, kind of crazy the times we live in. That people would rather have a drink of THC and go to bed than they would have a couple of drinks of bourbon or something like that. But that's the world we live in right now.
It's two different highs, that's for sure. It's
Well,
not
I
I'd
will
rather
tell
have a
you,
glass of whiskey, honestly, but
I tried the THC the other night for the first time. My wife had some of that Willie Nelson Willie's remedy, and hell, all it made me do is fall asleep.
yeah, same here.
Yeah, real party pooper. Wow. Hey, talking about something that's not a party pooper, and I know you don't distribute Jack, but man, they had a huge drop this morning over in Lynchburg, and this bottle here, it's only a 375. It retailed for $6 out the door, but this is like the hottest thing since today's high temperatures. Uh, Arkansas. And luckily, thanks to a good guy out there that lives in Arkansas, Northeast Arkansas, I got a bottle of this. So I'm looking forward to trying it. The big hoo ha about it is basically it's damn near a hazmat, but the big draw is it's a Coy Hill, you know, bottle from the Coy Hill warehouse. So, you have any thoughts on that?
Um, I'd like to try it. That's for sure.
Well, I don't live but like 20 minutes from you, so when I get
Yeah, I guess I could sneak over there in my
we
spare
could try
time.
it. You've never even been to the Speakeasy. You need to come over to Speakeasy sometime.
I'll speak easy if I show up. I
Yeah,
won't tell anybody.
I know how you'll speak. Moving right along, future guests that we're going to have on the show here, Mr. Craig. I mean, not Craig Beam, that's Stephen Beam. Guess they're related all together. But the new Yellowstone is coming out, 2026 limited edition, 7 year and 14-year Kentucky straight bourbons that are blended in ruby and tawny port casks. So we're always having to go for something a little sweeter, I guess. Is that what they're trying to achieve here, or just be different?
If you're talking about Arkansas palate, yeah, for sure. The sweeter profiles tend to be the
Better
jam here,
sellers.
and probably in the South as well.
Why do you think that would be?
That's a great question, but it goes to pretty much every spirit we sell, or wine. A lot of the more fruit forward wines sell well in the South.
Huh.
The additive tequilas that have vanilla and all that stuff in them seem to go well better. The wheat bourbons that are sweeter, high corn stuff. It's synonymous with the South. Maybe because all of our ancestors made great desserts and we just crave that sugar. I don't know.
I guess we're addicted to sugar. I know there's a bottle over at Buster's called Bam Bam. Have you ever heard of Bam Bam vodka?
I've heard of it. I've never had it.
It's like drinking Fruity Pebbles or something like that, equivalent to that, and it's just like the cat's meow. Everybody loves that, and it's
Yeah,
like it's so sweet.
we used to sell Three Olives Loopy. We still sell a little bit of it, but it's mirrored after a similar taste profile that tastes like Fruit Loops. I
Well, yeah, I guess you could say this was Fruit Loops. It's that sweet, fruity, fruity flavored,
mm,
artificial flavored crap. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I tasted it and I thought it was pretty good, but it's not something I would drink all the time. It's kind of a one time type deal. Uh, anyway, hey, got to do something real quick here. Aaron, give me just 1 minute. I'm solo here tonight. Things are not doing what they're supposed to do, but I want to do this right now. Real quick like. I think if I man, I need a drink.
I think you're doing a great job. You're giving me a headache with all the theatrics and wondering how you do it.
Ooh.
So
Yeah, I don't know what the hell I'm doing over here. I'm just trying to hang on. Well, anyway, congratulations to Will. Will, you got that bottle, and next time I see you, I'll bring it over. And hey, without further ado, let's just bring on the man of the hour. Setting back, I see him in the background there, and Aaron looks like he's actually in this picture. Look here when I bring him on. Where is he? There he is. Look at that. Hey, what's going on, Aaron?
this
Aaron's mic is muted. There, now talk,
Good.
Aaron. How are you?
Hello. I,
Hello,
I I
Arkansas.
I always say I have a solution to the
legalizing marijuana affecting alcohol sales. You got to
What's that?
legalize cocaine. That'll get those kids drinking.
That's a good idea.
You know, back in the day, Aaron, cocaine was actually in Coca Cola. I mean,
That was
might as
way
well.
back in the day.
Yeah, way back in the day when damn Coca Cola tasted really good.
But yeah, I even saw it at my bar in Las Vegas, like when recreational marijuana became legal. Man, it just killed the bar business. Because I mean, it's crazy. Because when I was young, we would go out and high and drink, and but now everything's so strong, it just puts people to sleep, like you were saying.
Yeah, I didn't find it appealing. Now I think it's maybe more, and Anthony could talk to this better than I could. I think it's more geared toward women, honestly, women and old people.
Well, the
Um,
the ready to drink stuff is definitely more feminine, I'll say. But I think that with the gummies and pens and all the things now, if you're talking about like alcohol replacement stuff, I think that's definitely geared towards women. But if you're just talking about medicinal recreational with the pens and gummies and stuff, I mean that's literally appealing to everybody. So
Mhm. Well, it's illegal in the great state of Arkansas, thanks to Sarah Sanders, which I love. Because my other alter ego works for Sarah, so I'm not going to say anything bad about it. But it's coming. One of these days, it's going to be legal everywhere. Might as well get tax money on it right now. I don't care. You're either going to do it or you're not going to do it, whether it's legal or illegal, right? That's
yeah.
never stopped a 17-year-old kid from like drinking a bottle of whiskey. Did they give a shit whether it's legal or not?
nope.
Anyway, let's get back to where we're really at here for. We're here for Aaron. Aaron is from Smoke Wagon. I guess you're the co-founder, right? Are you the actual
Yep.
co-founder now still? I mean, I guess you're always going to be
Oh
a
yeah, there's
co-founder.
still just two of us. No equity partners or anything like that. It's still me and Jonathan. I'm still doing all the blending and everything, and been
Do it your
traveling a
way.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to get back to Arkansas. We had a good meal one time together. I don't remember much of it because y'all were sitting in a fancy table and I was sitting over in a booth. But hey, it's all good.
Last time I was there, Anthony wouldn't let me eat lunch, so I can't. I'm not coming back.
Well, hey, we had to sell some shit. We had to work.
Now I know Anthony was pretty instrumental in getting Smoke Wagon here in Arkansas.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely. Yeah.
you know, now I'm actually while we're sitting here talking, I'm actually sipping on some that somebody may have figured out how to get
Oh,
that
the
in my
Winter Oak.
hands.
Right
Dude,
on.
I love the Winter Oak. It's unfortunately getting very low. I don't share it anymore with anybody. So,
Yeah, it's
but
funny. All those things when they come out, people hate on them, and then 2 years later, when you can't get it anymore, it's the greatest thing that I ever did.
I guess
It's like
that's how
uncut.
it
It's like
works, right?
uncut batches. Yeah, it's like so funny because people now they're posting, like the 160s, the 170s, because those are like 3 years old now, and they came out during like the height. And when those came out, everyone was like, "Oh, these well, you want the older batches," and it's always you want the
Now they want
you
those
want
batches.
yeah.
That's just human nature, right? You always want what you can't get.
That's what people. Yes, it's like I always people always like, you're gonna do Desert Jewel again, and my analogy is like Triumph motorcycles, because when Triumph came back and they did retro bikes, everyone was like, these aren't the same as the old ones. It's like, yeah, they're a billion times better. They're way better, but they don't want it to come back. They want a time machine. They want to go find Desert Jewel when nobody wanted it. Like, they want to go back and buy a Triumph new on the showroom floor in 1968, pick up their girlfriend in her mini skirt and go-go boots and go see, the Beatles. They don't. It's like they're nostalgic for a time period versus like an actual product.
Well, speaking of that, your product has become one of the most sought after brands. Really, what do you think is the biggest reason for your success?
Tastes good.
That's a pretty damn good reason. I mean, if it
Well, it's
tasted
funny
if it
because like
tasted like shit, nobody would want it, right?
exactly, yeah, because like I see all these, um, I see brands and like we do this and that and this and like they're not talking about how it affects the flavor profile. And so, and like obviously like the only one that I really do specifically for myself where I just like I don't have anybody else in mind is uncut unfiltered. But when I'm doing like the straight bourbon, like the white label or desert colt or even small batch, I'm keeping a specific, person in mind, like what are they going to like, And then that's why I travel so much and do all these wine and food festivals and still stand behind a table so I can make sure I'm connecting with those people and I didn't like fuck it up.
Right. Yeah, and people like to smooge with the big dog. They want to.
Oh, well, I mean, the crazy thing is it's like we're crossing over to general consumers and they've like never heard of the brand and they have no idea who I am. So it's
Hmm,
pretty cool. But I think the other thing too is like I've always tried to connect with everybody. I understand their importance in the success. And so like even in the beginning, I was the one like I still do all the Instagram and I respond to all the comments and everything. And like, even during COVID, when bourbon groups were asking me to do like Zooms and stuff, right? And I would show up and like, we can't believe you're here. Like we're nobody. I'm like, man, nobody's nobody. It all adds up. Everyone's important. And I would see
right.
other brands, and they were way smaller than we were, sending a brand ambassador. I'm like, man, you got to make time for these people. These people are what you know they're what makes it all happen. Like you can't take anything for granted.
Right.
And I think, like I just kind of did like I tried I tried to do what brands I connected with did and tried not to do what brands that pissed me off did, right? Because first I'm a consumer and I tag brands and they wouldn't like repost my stuff and I'd be like, well fuck you then. I'll like buy your competitor. I don't give a shit. I take it personally. And
Right.
and so and then also, I think you got to have a vibe like that people want to connect with. And like even when I did the small batch bottle, I didn't even have any bourbon yet. I was just like, yeah, we're gonna put fucking guns on it. We're gonna call it's gonna be 100 proof because that's the way you test. You test 100 proof by putting gunpowder in your booze, and if it still catches on fire, it's 100 proof or higher. I'm like, fuck yeah, guns and gunpowder. Like, I just wanted to look cool. And then I tried to figure out how to make it actually taste good.
Aaron, you should have come up with the bourbon genie. Yeah. Rub the rub the bottle 3 times and make a wish and see what happens. I mean, hell. It's not copyrighted. You can use it if you want.
No, I wouldn't do that to you. I'm gonna let you. I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
I'm gonna
I wouldn't steal
I'm
that
gonna
from
run
you.
with I'm gonna run with the genie. By God, Anthony, do you have a question for this illustrious gentleman sitting here in the desert?
I'm just absorbing. I'm listening, and it's always such a great time to hear. I've been here. This is what I'll say is when I was a young industry guy, which I still consider myself a young industry guy. Um, I got to see when I was in my young 20s the rise of some brands. Obviously, it was in the heyday of Jägermeister and Fireball, and I know those aren't comparable brands to what Aaron's done, but you see in the industry um, brands that really just come forward, Tito's, that were really non-existent before, and just kind of burst onto the scene and did just crazy magical stuff. And For me, it's just been super cool to watch that happen with Smoke Wagon, but not only watch it happen from afar, but have a relationship and history with Aaron and seeing him do exactly what he's doing. Because I can't tell you how many brands that we've launched that are, you know, for lack of a better term, just marketing bullshit. And Aaron's one of the ones that's done it right since he's come on, and
Oh,
um,
thank you.
he's never, you know, to his credit and um, what he said earlier about getting on calls with people. I mean, he was on, I think, a call with one of the bourbon clubs in Arkansas in 2020, 2021 when he first came. And it was, you know, it was cool to see because at that time it was just total chaos and he made time for everybody. And so it's cool. It's a long rambling way of to be a part of something in the industry that you're going to remember forever, and to not only be a part of it but to, you know Aaron and kind of experience it with him has been cool. But we've been fortunate enough to be one of the early states that adopted the brand, and it's still a great brand to have. Obviously the whiskey business is not what it was when we kicked it off, so it's been drastically different.
It is
And
drastically. I will tell you, man. Going from like a boutique case one brand where everyone wanted every single batch of uncut unfiltered, whether they were drink. What I didn't realize is they weren't drinking it; they were just collecting them all. Going from that to like trying to do volume with the white label and Desert Colt is harder than I think launching the brand.
yeah, you're
Hmm.
right.
It is. I don't wish it on anybody. I mean, you got to do it, or you're not going to make it. I mean, that's kind of what I told everyone. But like, yeah, like when I would go to Arkansas, people were like, "Why are you in Arkansas?" And I was like, "I had a phone call with Anthony. Who's the other guy on the phone? I don't even remember."
Scott Bird.
Yeah, we just had a call, and I was like, "Man, I like these guys." And I didn't give a fuck. I was like, "Well, we'll see what happens. I don't care. I just,
Well,
I just want to work. I just want to work with them, you know."
the,
I
th- the
wish it was still like that. I had to leave so many of this. Fortunately, uh, the distributor's independent, but they're big. Like so many of the small distributors, where whether I liked the people or had a good relationship, we just had to leave them because they were too small. And they, I told them where everything was going and what was going to happen and what the focus had to be, and they didn't listen to me. And they were like, "Oh, this shit's easy. You just sit in your office and people call you and ask you for bourbon." I'm like, "Man, that this isn't gonna last." Oh shit, kicking my table. This isn't real. You got to be out and market, And they're like, "No, we're gonna go to another state. It's because it's so easy." I'm like, "You're not even in the state you're in. You don't have enough trucks. You don't have enough sales reps. You don't have enough anything." And they were like, "You need to do more limited releases. You have to do more limited releases." I was like, that's over. I changed the bottle for the two entry things and gave them pretty cases because we have to do end caps and stacks and displays and visibility, and sort of going back to like the crossover general consumers and what we're talking about is like a success. I was just in Manhattan, right? And it's July, and I go to this small liquor store, and the owner's like, "Hey, we really appreciate you being here. We scheduled it because it's our 10th year anniversary, but it's July, so nothing's going to happen." And I sold out their entire inventory of straight, and it wasn't. There was like two people that were like bourbon people, and a lot of it was like women that were there because they have wine tastings every Thursday, and they saw the bottle and everything. They're like, "Oh, this is really cool. What is this?" And it's and the kind of same thing. Wine and food festivals, like people just come to my table. Like I always have like some sort of desert sunset landscape or that guy and they're like, "This is boy, this booth is the vibe of this booth is cool." And then fortunately, when they try the bourbon, they like it.
so
You
so
know,
you get both ends of it. Not only do you have a fancy, nice looking bottle, but then you you can back it up with the juice that's in it.
yeah, and there's something for everyone because I think the biggest mistake that people uh, we're all conditioned to think old is good, young is bad, right? And for us seasoned bourbon drinkers, old is good because it's complex and there's all these flavors and we can access them. If you were to give uncut, unfiltered, like, or even like a 12-year-old single barrel to someone getting into bourbon, because they're going to say, what's the oldest? What's the most expensive? If you give that to them, they're not going to like it. And they, because they're looking for smooth and
I hate that
and
word.
I know so many people do, but let me tell you. So I always say, are you looking for like something deep and complex, and are you and big, or do you want an easy sipper? Like easy sipper, I want smooth, and I just give them the white label, and they're like, this is so good. I didn't know bourbon could taste like this. And like, is this the most expensive? I'm like, no, that's $29 bottle, you know. And it's funny because sometimes you see like bourbon, like I'll see like bourbon groups hate on it and stuff like that because it's soft or delicate. But it's like if you're gonna have community in your Facebook group, you should behave like a community. And I can tell you that that bottle from, I mean, like when you're talking about like New York Wine and Food Festival, South Beach Wine and Food Festival, where I come in contact with 1,000 people, and I'm getting all these people who didn't think they would ever drink bourbon neat, and I'm getting them into bourbon. Like that should be embraced. Like it's cool because bourbon's amazing. You know, it's such a pure spirit. It's one of the few that, by definition, can't have any added, you know, blend non-alcohol blenders or flavors or anything. And so, and it's America's spirit. So, like, getting people into bourbon uh, is awesome.
I agree with you on that. And there's a lot of like you were talking about the age statements, and there's just so many myths out there about things, and gimmicks like the bourbon genie, whatever. But no,
That's different. Don't be hating
well,
on the bourbon genie. The
you
bourbon
know
genie brings happiness to people's homes.
that's
There they are
true.
sitting.
Now,
They
Aaron,
have nothing. And
the
then
other
thanks to the
way
bourbon.
the other way we can make people happy is by saying the words smoke wagon, because we have a little game around here that when any of us here on the show say that word, which I know it's actually technically two words, but if you say smoke wagon, you got a damn drink. So I mean, it could be water or it could be
Oh,
bourbon. I mean, it's
I
your
got
that's all
choice.
I
some
have with
Chick-fil-A
it.
here.
I'm drinking bourbon. I'm
Ooh,
drinking the Winter Oak.
I
Now,
haven't eaten yet.
well, yeah, it's early out where you're at. Hell,
Yeah.
usually on this show, people are like, "I need to get off of here and go to bed." Hell, it's 10 o'clock. I'm like, I forgot it's Eastern time. But now, Aaron, out of all of the batches that you've made, which one are you the
Huh.
most proud of? Is this a common question that you get, or I know they're all your babies,
Huh.
but there's got to be one. I mean, I've got two children. Anthony's got two children. We obviously know which ones Anthony is most
I will say
favors. So
the one you're drinking, the Winter Oak, that was the most extensive because everything that went into that, I planned that for 2 years. I had taken barrels and let them age in Las Vegas specifically for that. So that was a really cool experience. But
it's a great bottle.
the
I,
WC elevator batch, emotionally, that's probably my favorite because that was a total fuck you to all the haters. Because Warehouse C at MGP is one of the first warehouses built in 1932 by Seagram's. And when the elevator broke and all my old stuff was on the, I don't think it was on the sixth floor. I think it was on the fifth floor, Warehouse C. And everybody was like, oh, Smoke Wagon's dead. The brand's dead. They're out of old bourbon. Aaron's lying about this elevator. There's no elevator, blah blah blah. And then the elevator got fixed, and my 8-year barrels were 9-year barrels, and I did that. And I forget what I was originally going to call it, but I was like, I'm going to call it the warehouse, the elevator badge. And it was like a big percentage of 9-year. That was like that was.
I don't think we saw any of that in Arkansas, Anthony.
We did.
Oh, did we?
Anthony
I
Yeah,
drank
did.
it all.
I
it
just didn't
was
see any
small.
of it. I didn't see any of it.
It was in the, I would say, earlier days, but we definitely had some.
Okay.
Yeah, the batches have definitely gotten bigger. Like the 777s, I did 3 batches because now that we're in every state, like originally when the batch number one, that was 1,600 bottles, and then I did those rare and limited single barrels, and I did that when we were only in California and Nevada, but by the time they released, we were in like 33 states. And then I had it took 10 months to get label approval for rare and limited because I was dealing with a TTB agent that claimed that our motto, Viva Moria Mess, let us drink for we must die, means you have to drink or you're going to die. And it's false advertising. And I was like talking to like somebody they work for a very big company. And they're like, well, we just go in there and pull it from that agent and give it to another one. And I was like, I don't have anybody sitting, in office next to the TTB office. So I just let it expire. And then I resubmitted it and the new agent approved it in a day. So in that 10-month period, we went from being in like 2 states to 33 states. And all of a sudden it was like, nothing was enough, and the single barrel releases were just, some distributors didn't even sell them, they just kept them because they only got a case. And when I did that, the only 5-year, that was supposed to be like $49 retail. I was like, oh, I'll do a fun little single barrel. It'll be super cheap. Everyone can afford. And it ended up selling for like $2,000. And people are like, you're an asshole. Is this what it's come to? You're doing like, I was like, it's 3 tier system, man. I can't
So
control retailers.
so does that piss you off as a wholesaler? I guess I'll call you a wholesaler. Does that piss you off when you see those prices that people are just jacking way up just to
Oh,
make
for
their
me,
profit?
yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's out of
Because,
your control. There's nothing you can do about it, but just not
well,
make any juice and just say
some
screw you.
some some brands some brands encourage it, because and then that way you buy the cheaper stuff. But hype is a
We're caught in
date.
the middle. We're caught in the middle. We don't get any of the money.
Yeah. Oh, I don't get any of that money.
Yeah. we get
Um,
we got, on stuff like that, we're strictly, I mean, Aaron's obviously just a trustworthy guy, and we've always been transparent with our pricing, but we make normal margins on everything, even the highly
yeah.
allocated stuff that we sell from other suppliers. And a lot of other suppliers that are selling that stuff, audit us to make sure we're not selling it for too high, because we could, based on the secondary price, but we just, it's good practice not to do it. So
We're
But
sitting
yeah,
here
like kind
talking
of kind of
about
what you said, just not making any juice. I didn't do any barrel picks or rare releases for 3 years because I
uh,
wanted to get away from the hype. The
I
hype
was gonna
is,
Sam, we can do another barrel. Tell Aaron to send you some samples.
yeah, we
there
can do
you
Sam's
go.
the
another barrel.
retailer.
I was gonna say we're just sitting here talking about people jacking up prices, but Sam Rad is one of those guys that does not do that at his liquor store. So
But
everybody would make money. So Aaron just sends some samples to Anthony. Anthony, you send the samples to Sam. The damn bourbon legends will help do the pick, and then we're all happy.
you
There you
got
go.
it. Yeah, I mean, it's
So,
when you make it all about like something's unobtainable, and then when it becomes obtainable, it's almost like a letdown, and you see that a lot with brands where their whole business model was, you can't get this, and retailers had to sell a certain amount of something to get it, and da 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 da. And then now it's everywhere, and people like don't really want it, and so I tried to get away from that. And then the other thing I did, it was really a trip because like I cranked out the uncut, unfiltered because I didn't. I had so many fans from the beginning, and I didn't want them to feel like they'd been passed over and they couldn't find it. And but what I didn't realize is that it was the hype that was selling it, and people weren't drinking it; they were collecting it. And once it was everywhere, like it wasn't a big deal anymore. And same, and then what I strategically do with like barrel picks. I mean, not right now. The world's changed, right? There's no hype behind anything. Like anyone that says there is, it's every sort of rare thing that someone's like, "Ooh, can you believe I found this?" It's like, yeah, dude, I traveled the country. Everything's on the shelf everywhere. Nothing's impossible to find. But when we started doing barrel picks, I just cranked them out, and I mean, I only had a limited amount, but I did them all at once so that everybody could find them. And I'm in a lot of bourbon groups. And it's just so funny because people are like, "Oh, who cares? That's everywhere." It's like, well, don't you want it? I mean, that way but the price was what it was supposed to be. No retailer was overcharging. They were all exactly where they're supposed to be. They were all readily available. And it's just so funny because so people talk shit about the secondary market, and but then when you make it so that something can't get sold on the secondary market and it's readily available, but it's not rare, um, I mean, or at least perceived as not rare because it was rare. Like those 39% rye barrels are gone. I got maybe 50 of them, and MGP only did a couple thousand of them. And I just did them all at once, and to eliminate the hype. And then it's kind of like one of those things where now, 2 years later, people are like, man, did you get one of those 39% rye barrels? But when they were out, they were like, oh, they're everywhere. We want the 36% rye ones. I was like, dude, there's always gonna be 36% rye ones. In two
Uh,
years, it's like Desert Jewel. When Desert Jewel came out, it took me 3 years to sell 700 cases because I was selling based on taste. I was standing behind a table 3 days a week in a liquor store sampling. And the flavor profile of a 10-year has a very narrow audience appeal versus the flavor profile of small batch Desert Colt or the white label.
hmm.
And so it didn't sell because like people didn't know what it was and they weren't looking for 10-year bourbon. They didn't give a shit and about rarity, and they just tried it, and only like serious bourbon people liked it, and so it just took forever to sell. And then it
You,
was like the best thing I ever did.
well, now you were talking about, and I'm going to assume that most of your whiskey, if not all of it, is MGP. Would I
Yep,
be
all its
correct in saying
MGP.
that? All
Yeah.
right. So did you ever get any hate on that? Like, well, he don't make whiskey. He just sells
Oh yeah,
MGP.
sure. I don't do anything. I just take the shittiest bourbon and put it in a barrel. And it's funny because I even saw one person as I put it in a bottle. They're like, "Oh, everybody gets hard on for MGP, but they don't care about these legacy releases from Heaven Hill." It's like I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Seagram's built that distillery a decade before Heaven Hill opened. That is an older distillery than Heaven Hill. That has more history than Heaven Hill. So people's perception versus reality, and that was the thing because like when I went there, the problem with MGP is the name. When they bought the Seagram's distillery, they marketing wise, now it's Ross and Squibb, but they should have done that in the beginning because even me, right? So to that, let's take a trip back in time.
Oh, can I play?
It's
Can I? Do I need to play some music? Ooh, like a dream sequence.
all right. It's 2012. I'm trying to source barrels, which I didn't know you could do when I started. Like when I was told, oh well, you could just go buy some barrels. I was like, no, I did not know I could just go buy barrels. Nobody told me that. But In 2012, 275 craft distilleries opened up, and collectively they were seen as competition. And all the big brands closed their doors and stopped selling barrels. And there was MGP, who had just bought the Seagram's distillery, that had no brands because when Diageo bought Seagram's, they split up the brands and then installed contracts and then sold to Pernod. And then Pernod kept some of the brands, installed contracts, and then sold to an investment group who couldn't manage. They were undercapitalized. They couldn't manage it, and they sold to MGP. And I remember they, advertised that they were selling barrels. And my business partner Jonathan, he showed me the MGP website, and he's like, "Well, these guys are selling barrels." I was like, "I'm not buying fucking barrels from these people in Kansas that, make ethanol for Purell and food grade protein." But they were the only option. And when we called, I guess they didn't realize how poor craft distillers were. And they were getting at that time, and they were getting jerked around. So like, "Hey man, if you guys are serious, you'll come out here." So we flew out there, and like I saw it, and it was like, holy shit. They told me the whole history of why Seagram's built. It's the same water as Kentucky, but on that side of the Ohio River, they get all the wind and it blows all the mist off the Ohio River. And it's like a aquifer. So low water table. So the way Seagram's built the original rack houses is they have sub basements with dirt floors. So it's always wicking moisture up from the aquifer. And they did, if you look at those buildings, they have no windows except in the stairwells, and that was to seal in all the humidity. And so, like, you see it, and it's like, oh man, this place is amazing. And then also, I was like, how the fuck do you scale to this? Like, everybody lied to me. We had like a 3,900 square foot space with a still that could do a barrel a day. Like 2024, we contract distilled 24,500 barrels, and which is too many. That's a different story. We got bullied into it. We only want to do half that, but whatever. And it's just like, even when I showed up, I was like, "Where's the master distiller?" They're like, "Oh, you want to meet him?" I'm like, "Yeah." Is he like rubbing grain together and smelling it in his overalls? They're like, "No, he's in the control room, like watching the computer screen." And because all master distillers are chemists, the blenders are the artists. All the magic happens in the barrels. And you
Right.
learn that they have a methanol sniffer, which is great, because then you're not going, "Oh, it doesn't smell like acetone or methanol anymore." Your chemical cut. When it's time to cut your hearts, because it's pure ethanol, and the qualities of the grain, and so no one's going to go blind or die. And I was like, I don't have money for a methanol sniffer. And I don't want to. And it took all the romance out of distilling, right? And I was like, I don't want to sit in front of a computer all day and watch chemical composition. I want to create great stuff. And so we met the blender. Well, there was two. There was Pam. She's gone, and she did like more of the stuff for like. I forget who owns Crown, like who owns Seagram 7 and who owns the other one. But it has flavors and stuff, and she would do all the flavors and all that stuff. But I was just like, man, yeah, this is the way. And then the state laws changed, and we couldn't distill, and now we can't. Like, there's not enough water here to do what I do, the
Well,
quantity I do.
I read somewhere or watched you on a podcast or something, or one of your own shows. Didn't you have a problem with evaporation in your barrels out there since it was
So
so dry?
there is a place, and they mainly do unaged spirits. They have some super young bourbons, but the original owner of that, he would lose 50% the first year.
Shit.
And so, yeah. And so that was kind of like, everything kind of like came together, where the state was like, "Do you want to be a craft distiller, or do you want to be a rectifier because when we started, there was no craft distiller's license, and you could distill as a rectifier. And by this point, we had, I don't know, it was like 2,500 barrels in Indiana, which at the time was like, we have so many barrels. Now I go through 2,500 barrels in, I don't know, few months. But and then I found out he was losing 50%. I was just like, the writing's on the wall. Like this is our path. This is what we're doing. And it's just, I don't know, man. It- you try to figure out how to make shit work, and people who've never accomplished anything, they're going to hate on you. They're like, oh, it's just MGP, or you just doing this, or you don't distill, and they don't know shit about the industry. You know, Even to just say, oh, it's just MGP. I mean, there's the old Seagram's warehouses. There's the two Shenley warehouses that were part of the old Quaker facility. There's the new steel building warehouses. Like, it's all different. And I think a lot of that maybe came from when brands were buying like 10 to 50 barrels at a time, and they're all kind of coming from the same location. But I mean, I don't know, we got like 40,000 barrels out there. And that's why now when I do my blends, I give the exact percentage from each warehouse location, because no one can replicate my blend. No one has our inventory because we've been contract distilling for so long.
So
And
is
I
that
don't
how
think
is
I don't think it's any secret, but I think Aaron was one of the first ones to actually own the fact that they were contract distilling, because it was such like a topic that a lot of these small craft distilleries didn't want to talk about, because back then the bourbon heads and geeks were just totally against it, and then like Aaron started talking about it with his product, and it like became
oh
like
yeah,
it became like the next brand came up like, what, did you get this at MGP, or y'all sourcing this? And then it became like kind of flipped the script on them and did 180, and then
yeah,
like the
we
next thing it
put
goes like,
distilled. Yeah, we
is this
put distilled in
MGP? And then it was
Indiana.
automatically on the map, you know?
Yeah, we put distilled in Indiana on our bottles before it was federally regulated. And and that's when all of a sudden you had all these brands switching to a blend of straight bourbons, because if you're multi-state distillation, then you don't have to put your state of distillation on there. But
I
everyone
I
was lying about
I was
everything.
going to say, I think even to this day, I mean, there's a lot more brands that are being transparent, whether it's MGP or Green River. I know Green River is a huge, distiller for a lot of craft distilleries,
Oh yeah.
and it's
Well,
like,
no
who
no
really
one's
gives a crap
closing
as
their
long as it's good?
doors. Yeah, no one's closing their doors right now. If you want to buy barrels, you
They're
can
available,
buy
huh?
barrels.
Yeah. Well, what do you think's gonna happen, Aaron, with that? Do you think there's I mean, is this just a natural trend? Did COVID blow this up to where people were, sitting at home, rubbing their bottle three times, hoping a genie would pop out of it, and then they run around and they start collecting and all that? Or is this just a natural way of getting back to the way it should have been if there wouldn't have been a line, Fauci?
Uh,
And
it's
don't
a
take the
trend.
fifth. Don't take the fifth like
I'm not,
Fauci did.
because it's a trend I've seen multiple times owning bars, and so I wanted to make sure I was prepared for it. The category blows up. Like, you can take something where people aren't even like necessarily collecting, like vodka. 2003 to 2009, everyone coming to the bar, like our we had more martini glasses than anything else during that time period, and everyone was drinking like Washington apples and Cosmos, but it was with Grey Goose or Chopin or the most expensive stuff, right? And then the recession happened, and all of a sudden, like, that whole affliction, Christian Audiger, VIP service, flexing your money was no longer cool, and that was like the birth of Tito's. No one drank Tito's when everybody wanted super high end vodka. They drank Tito's when they were broke, and they wanted to drink vodka, but they didn't want to go back to like Smirnoff or whatever. And unfortunately for Scotch, same thing happened with Jameson. You know, Scotch was huge, like it was so big. And then general consumers move in and they don't want super big, funky. They want soft pants. And so you just got to make sure you're prepared for it. But yeah, like the market wasn't real. And I keep seeing these things. Oh, people aren't drinking the way they are. I'm like, well, what's the metric for drinking? Because nobody was drinking during. I mean, they were drinking, but people were buying. They were collecting. It was Beanie Babies. They were, you know. And the end of COVID was a big factor, but also when I mean, we saw it as a brand. Like Instagram no longer became sort of a valuable tool for free marketing because alcohol sensitive content. And
Hmm.
so all these people that were like taking selfies and everything, they went from getting like 5,000 likes for their super rare bottle to two, you know? And so
Right.
suddenly there's no flex. And and as far as where I didn't want to be was craft beer because I saw a lot. Look, there's people that are really into bourbon, and then there's people that do it for reasons, personality problems, you know. And you saw the same thing with like craft beer drinkers, where like we were changing handles every month, man. Like people were not loyal to a brand. As soon as it became popular, they didn't want to have anything to do with it anymore. And it was all too weird and funky to cross over to general consumers. And so I was like, that's not where we have to have a broad spectrum. We have to have stuff that has a wide audience appeal and you know, and then also stuff that caters to like the seasoned bourbon drinkers that want depth and complexity, want something more limited to add to their collection. Um, so to long-winded answer your question, it's never going to go back to how it was. Nothing ever does. But because of the explosion and all the articles and all that stuff, there's all these people now that like never considered drinking bourbon that want to try bourbon. And you just, it's like cigars. Like I remember like some forum and someone was like, "Oh, I want to start smoking cigars," and like this guy was like, "Oh, you should try an Oliva Maduro." I'm like, dude, you're a fucking asshole. That's gonna make that person like puke their guts out. That's gonna have way too much nicotine, you know. And you have to separate what you like versus keeping in mind what they're gonna like. I, and if you really want them to enjoy it, you'll recommend something that they'll actually enjoy and not be like, "Oh, you didn't like that? Well, your palate sucks," you know. And
That's what I
it's
love.
just
Hey, Anthony, that's what I love about Aaron. He doesn't hold back, does he?
No, it's the brutal, honest truth, which it's true too. It's
Yeah.
if you
very
want to make
synonymous
it,
with all the stuff we've
yeah.
talked about before.
There, if you're just doing rare releases, if you're just doing barrel picks, your 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 days are numbered. There's no question. Everyone gets full, their collections get full, they get burnt out. The people who don't get burnt out are people who are drinking because they enjoy it and they're depleting bottles. And those are the people you have to connect to. Whether it's the small, narrow audience that actually drinks uncut, unfiltered, it's their favorite. You got to make sure it's, you know, I mean, I just do that for how I like it. And they usually like it too, but I've never compromised the quality, even when we were cranking it out. And then like the white label, like when I blend that, I might like it, but I'm like, no, this is too much oak for like the average person, or it's too spicy, it's too big. I need to dial it down, or they're not going to like it. And if I don't connect with those people, then especially something of that price point with that low margin, you have to do volume. And those the people that are drinking. they're going to be loyal. They're going to be loyal to your brand. Their kids are going to drink it. It's the people that
Right.
collect. I mean, there's people that do both, but the people that were collecting strictly for prestige, not only they're not loyal to your brand, they're not loyal to your category. Like as soon as bourbon goes burp, and there's no more like people fawning over their collection, they'll go on to the next thing.
Well, that's just like I got this Weller lineup here, the rainbow. Took me 3 damn years to get it, and now, I mean, there's just so much of that stuff out there, like you were saying earlier. Everybody's
Dude,
got a rainbow now. I mean, shit. It ain't no big deal. It's no big deal. I mean, single barrel Weller used to be, like $1,200 on the secondary. You're damn lucky if you found one for 500. You trade a pappy for it or whatever. Now this shit sits up there on the damn shelf at Buffalo Trace for what is it, 59.99 or
yeah.
something, 79, whatever the hell it is. I mean, and I do. I collect and I drink, but there's no way when you out collect more than you can drink. If I had to drink all this, I mean, hell, look here. I keep going up. Uh,
I mean,
I've
shit,
bought
fortunately, it doesn't go bad.
my my
I've bought
liver would be
boxes.
tickled.
Yeah, I bought boxes of limited cigars that I just bought them because they were limited and they were okay. I didn't smoke them that much, and they were either like a Connecticut leaf, and after like 5 years, just they had no oil, and they smoked like hay, or they got moldy, or something happened, and then also there's the psychology of like, well, if I smoke it, then I won't have it anymore,
Right,
which is totally
right.
stupid because like the reason you have it is to enjoy it.
Well, if
Um,
if anybody was in the whiskey collecting business thinking they were going to get rich by turning around and selling it on the secondary, oh man, they're probably kicking themselves in the ass right now.
yeah, I mean, it's like Unicorn Auction has paid ads now. Like, could you imagine a paid ad for Unicorn Auctions in like 2022?
Right.
No way, man. They were like selling everything they got their hands on.
It's crazy, and hey, as a consumer, I love it because it there's more out there for me that I can actually get now. And
Yeah,
then not only that, I don't have to pay 3 times what it's worth to get it.
yeah. I mean, there
And
are people that enjoy hunting. I am not one of those people. I'm the opposite. I mean, I guess because I never have to hunt because anything rare that I want, I've established a relationship with like the manager of the store, or I figured out a way so that like I get the first call, but
right.
I support them. It's not just like, oh, they get my business, so it's not like, oh, call me when you have something rare. It's I'm in there all the time, and then they get something rare, and they're like, "Hey, this might be something you want."
And that's how it really should be, honestly.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I
hey,
mean,
let me
oh,
ask
go
you
ahead.
another let me ask you another question real quick.
That's why I'm here.
You got people here that love Smoke Wagon. We've got a lot of people that have been in the chats. I'm trying to keep up with the chats and highlight you and do this and that. It is a lot more difficult when you're doing this solo. But uh, is there anything coming out in the future that your true fans, maybe you can tease
Oh,
them
sure.
with, or
Yeah. So crazy story. Okay, and everybody might be able to sort of understand this now because of the Uncle Nearest situation. But we had the same type of loan. We had a based loan where our bourbon barrels were the asset, and barrels, they just got devalued. And so technically we're overdrawn on our loan. And so anytime I wanted barrels, because we're technically in default of our loan, we had to pay down our loan to pull barrels. And it was killing us. It was so horrible. Like, especially because the transition to Southern Nationally was painful. I had multiple small distributors go out of business and leave us hanging $1 million in receivables that we never got paid. And so it was like we were financially like not in the best position, and then any money we're trying to fulfill all these new orders as we go national, and I had to pay for barrels. And so finally we talked to the bank and we're like, we're never going to get ahead doing this. And so they finally allowed us to pull barrels as long as we had purchase orders from distributors to show that that's going into bottles. Our bank restructured our loan so it was not a bourbon barrel asset loan. So now I can pull barrels. And so it's like, I think I just did that video where I put the 9-year barrels, 30 of them. Because when I say 39-year barrels, people think I have 39-year-old barrels, but it's 30 barrels of 9-year. I put those in a storage container, because like when I first tried them, when I first pulled them, it was to do uncut, unfiltered, and or barrel picks, and I tried them all. I was like, no, these are not good enough for any of that. Let's do something cool with them, and and then uh, and then I'm doing a double oak for the first time because I have so much low floor inventory, and that's the thing. Like we all talk about age and everything. Warehouse E in Indiana is a very cool warehouse, and it has a creek that runs right next to it, and it keeps it incredibly humid. And the aging is definitely retarded for sure. Like I can even like sixth floor, high floor stuff is like doesn't taste as old as it should, and the first
Hmm.
floor stuff just is not aging. And so now I can pull those barrels, and so I'm pulling 92 of those, and we're going to condense them into 60 new barrels that are heavy toast and number 5 char. And the reason that we're doing this is what I'm being told, and I try. It's Cameron Feek at Speyside, and so this is what he told me we have to do. That we have to do the heavy toast because the number 5 char seals the wood, and since I can't let them sit for like 5 years here, I can only let them sit for like because putting new distillate into seasoned dry wood, I can only do that for like 3 or 4 months, or it all just like boop, disappear. Like bringing barrels that have aged to them and the inside sealed a little bit by the alcohol, I can let those age. And so that heavy toast is going to open up the pores of the wood and allow it to penetrate the wood, even though it has a number 5 char. So we're doing those with double oak barrels for the first time. And so there's a reason behind it. Like I see people do double oak. I'm like, why'd you do it? I'm doing it like I've never done it before because I'm usually pulling from Warehouse G or these other things where 90% of the time I'm pulling older stuff and it's over oaked. And it's very easy for me to cure over oak by just letting it sit in Las Vegas for a summer, even indoors. It'll just suck all the harshness out and you get all the qualities of the age without that bitterness. And this is the first time where I'm like, man, these barrels. Yeah, you have a question?
Yeah, I do have a question there. I want to stop you real quick.
Craig,
So, yes,
the
sir.
I
Yes,
recognize Craig.
yes. Thank you. Uh, so so I've just been under the assumption this whole conversation that you were just blending it in Vegas, and they were aging it in Indiana and bottling it there. So you're saying that you're actually getting the barrels and then you're letting them age additionally
Oh,
in
sure, yeah.
Vegas?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. No,
That's
I
my bad.
mean,
I didn't do the show research. I didn't research you. So
yeah, we do all the I do all the blending and bottling. A lot of it, especially for like the cheaper stuff, the Desert Colton and the white label. That's just inventory management. That's just watching back, because they're all we buy new fills. We don't buy aged stuff, and that's just watching barrels, understanding the warehouse location, and strategically figuring out when to pull them and bring them here. But even the 4-year, like I can let the 4-year sit for 2 weeks and it'll totally change.
yeah.
Um, but
So
yeah,
so that dry air I mean, hell, what was the temperature there in Vegas today?
111.
Oh, that's
Woo!
it.
But
Anthony, it's a dry heat. It's a dry heat.
Yeah.
today was
Remember?
not a dry heat. There's monsoons, so it was like 40%
Oh,
humidity. Yesterday it was 111 and 4% humidity, and that was just like whatever. Who gives a shit? I was like standing outside in the sun, like yeah.
so there is a big when you get a barrel out there. I'm just going to say one barrel. It just in the weather in 2 weeks can make a huge difference
In the
for
summer,
you.
yeah.
Yeah,
Even in air
interesting.
conditioning, it doesn't matter.
Hmm.
It's all the lack of humidity. Like in the summertime, you can smell the building from 2 blocks away.
Really. I
Just
may
everything.
dabble. I may dabble in those dark arts myself, and above me, I could have whiskey dripping on me if the barrel has a leak on me or something.
The
But
the,
our weather here in Arkansas, especially I live 20 minutes from Anthony in Conway. Our weather here is basically like Kentucky weather in Bardstown as far as humidity goes. They probably have a little harsher winters, but things age here basically the same. So, but now I shouldn't say this because I'll probably piss some people off. I hate Texas whiskey. I hate that. I hate that damn taste, that
you you're
Texas
you are
funk
not
shit.
alone.
So
You're
what's the difference? Is it the humidity? Is that what the difference
it's
is?
got to be the humidity. It has to be the humidity because all
Yeah.
that stuff is so. I can't. I don't. I it has a grain characteristic and a a bitter oakness simultaneously. It's like it's too young and it's over oaked at the same time. And you're not alone. Like I've done it. I did a dinner. I got talked into doing a dinner with a brand out of Texas, and there was like two people at that dinner that fucking loved it, and everyone else is like, "Ugh." and even like going to casinos and stuff now. And kind of going back to the story about hype, they're pulling a lot. They're pulling a lot of that stuff because people have heard about it because of the hype, and then they try it, and they're just general consumers, and there's no way they're gonna like that. It's like, it- and so it just sits. But yeah,
Right.
it's got to be the humidity because the opposite thing happens here. I like the reason that I'm doing like these large batches now is because I've experimented with a barrel here or two. It's just like, well, how the fuck do I release this? Like, what, eight cases nationally? Like, what am I supposed to do with this? So I drink it. But like I had this one barrel that I aged here for like 5 years. It started as a 10-year and pulled 15 years old. We got 7 cases out of it, and it was 150 proof. And man, it had no oak, and it was so
Hmm.
thick. You could taste the proof on the first sip, but the second sip you could not. And that's the beauty of like of hazmat bourbon, because it happens through evaporation. Light whiskey goes into a barrel hotter. Canadian whiskey is whiskey flavored vodka. It's distilled to 190 proof. It doesn't have any fat or any of that stuff, so it's thin. Bourbon going in a barrel to 120 or 125 and then going up to 140 plus, all the water is evaporating, but it's leaving behind all the lipid esters, the fats from the grain. So it's like that's what makes high proof bourbon cool, because it's such a unique drinking experience. It's
Do
like
you do
I
you
can put
put?
caramel coloring. I got 192 proof neutral grain spirit that we use for a vodka. I could put some caramel coloring in it and some whiskey flavors and give it to you, and you could have some hazmat
Yeah,
Canadian
but
whiskey.
then it's
Yeah.
not Then it's not bourbon. Aaron? Do you get a lot of hazmat product out there? I mean, I'm
um,
sitting here. I don't recall ever seeing a smoke wagon
no,
that's a hazmat. So
I've been aging more stuff, so I've been getting more stuff that's over 120 proof. Indiana is so humid, stuff goes in the barrel at 120, and it generally goes down in proof. And so I bring it here, and like even if it goes up two, like there's some stuff like that warehouse E, like I'm gonna double oak that stuff, and you know, I no one should expect hazmat because coming out of that warehouse, it's like 108 proof. So even if it goes up
Right.
10, 15 points, it's only gonna be 120 something, you know.
So have you ever thought, I mean, and I'm sure you have thought about just taking new make, maybe
Yes.
aging it in bigger barrels? Like what are those barrels? I'm trying to think here at Rocktown in Little Rock. They've got a barrel that it's like 4 times the size of a damn normal barrel. I can't remember what the name of it is, but
Maybe not
um,
new make, but like bringing 4 years out and let them sit for 2 years. You know, we're
you know,
we we were gonna we were gonna develop this land we bought during COVID, but we have to sell it because part of our loan restructure is we have to pay down 40% of the loan. But we have found a new space, and it's more than 4 times the size of our current space. So I'm gonna have the ability to like stockpile barrels, and that's always been the problem in the past where I do experimental aging. It's like, oh, here's 2 barrels, but now I can do like 20 barrels, and so I could take
right.
20, 4-year barrels, age them to 6 or 7 years, and have them really go up in proof. And even if it's low yield, it's enough to release nationally.
And what about? I know at one time I thought I read or heard you say something about maybe doing an experience.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
the new
so
space we definitely will have that.
okay, so like you could come, sit at the bar, have a drink, shoot the shit, maybe get some,
Well, I
armadillo
got to get the
egg
state
bites or something.
laws
But
changed. It's a trip. Like I don't even think I don't even think estate distillers or craft distillers might be able to have a bar. But I'm trying to get it so we can at least sell bottles.
really, I mean, you can go legally get a hooker, but
Yeah.
you can't have a drink there in a
And
bar if you have a distillery, huh?
Las Vegas, baby.
Right.
originally the state legislature back in like 2011, 2012, there was still a lot of Mormons, and that was a problem. Now, like when I went up, we I hired a lobbyist and we tried once to get legislation passed. The problem was at the same time craft breweries were trying to get legislation passed where they can sell direct to consumer but circumvent the distributor. I am not trying to circumvent the distributor. My business model is not direct to consumer. It's like marketing, it's an experience. Like it's unprecedented to go to a distillery or even like a lot of these places are rectifiers, like Old Smoky, you know, and not be able to buy something. And so it's like, come on, guys. And they're like, well, what's going to stop somebody else from doing it? And you're like, why wouldn't you want other people to do it? And they're like, well, what's going to stop Jack Daniels from doing it? I'm like, well, it's Tennessee whiskey. First of all, what do you think? They're going to come out here and like, and you can't like, because they're like, oh, well, they're going to open up a place on the strip. It's like, you can't open a rectifier on the strip. You need heavy industrial zoning. It's not, it's not like you can just do it anywhere. But also, why wouldn't you want them to? It's this weird mentality that I
Well,
don't understand.
you're dabbling in the government, and when you
Yeah.
start dabbling with the government, I mean, none of it makes sense, right?
Yeah, but they make money. Like everything we export, we don't pay state tax on. If I was doing distillery releases and things like that, they would make more money, all that. It's,
Well, hey guys, I hate to jump off here, but I'm going to help Meredy with the kids with bed. And Aaron, it's been nice to chat with you.
good to see
Craig,
you
thanks for
again.
having me on, man. I appreciate it.
I can't
Thanks
wait
for
to come
getting
back
us
to
all hooked up.
Arkansas so I can go to
Yeah, I'm
McDougal's.
coming out there next month. I'll shoot you a text.
Okay.
All right, buddy. See you
All right.
See
guys.
you, see you,
Later.
Anthony. Now we can have real fun. Damn it! No, Yeah, that's so weird though, because like Vegas, Sin City, and then you can't even do that. That's just crazy thinking.
It's weird, man. I think I'm hoping new legislation starts in February, and I think we have a better chance this year than we did 2 years ago.
I hope you do. Thomas wants to know, when will that double oak be ready?
Mm. I'm hoping. I'm hoping November.
Oh, so that's just right around the corner.
Yeah, I'm trying to get all
Will
those barrels out here now. They should be out here. What do I look for? Oh, picking barrels, run cut unfiltered. Man,
Now this is my
uncut unfiltered.
host. This is the host. He's normally on here, but he's going through chemo right now. He's on his chemo week, and
Oh, good luck.
he was the one that actually won the bottle. The only time he can play is
He's
when
a
he's not on the
co-host and he
show.
won a
So,
bottle. I don't know. That
well,
guy
but
seems sort of
he's
suspect.
not on the co-host show tonight. So it's all up and up, right? So Will wants to know, what do
You,
you look
you,
for when picking barrels?
so uncut unfiltered is primarily 9 year now, and those barrels are I usually have out in Las Vegas for a while. And uncut unfiltered is surprisingly the easiest one to do because it is like baking a cake to some degree, where the certain and to say barrels is we batch every barrel based on its federal batch ID number, so the day it was distilled and its warehouse location. And so when I do a blend, I'm doing it out of tanks that have that. That way everything's precise. Because like if I was to dose sample barrels, I can only assume how much liquid is in that barrel, because if you roll it onto a pallet scale and you can guess that it's 140 pounds of wood, but in the summertime with expansion, there's more bourbon in the wood, and wintertime with contraction, there's less bourbon in the wood. So we batch everything like that, and then the guys pull samples, and I show up and I do a blend using all the samples from each of those tanks, and I do the blend 200 grams at a time, each gram representing 0.5%. So when we go to batch it, a batch of uncut's going to be 2,500 pounds. So I know what percentage from each tank that they should put in the batch.
Hmm.
Uncut really is like, okay, my 9 years too oaky. It needs more 4 and 5 year to knock that down, or more 7 year. It's usually like very minimal 4 and 5 year. In the 7 and 9 year is what changes depending on the location. So if I have 9 year that's like a little, maybe it was palletized and it wasn't aged quite right and it needs more depth, I'll go higher on the 7 year. So uncut is actually one of the easier ones to do. The hardest is desert cold and even straight, because that is really where you're blending. And when you're it's not like baking a cake. You're trying, anytime you blend different proofs together, it creates chemical reaction, and it's going to generate heat, and it's going to change the structure. And so with the uncut unfiltered, it's like, oh, there's too much oak. Let's put some 4 and 5 year in and knock down the oak, bring in some cinnamon spice. Oh, the 7 year is like a little too thin. Let's do some more 9 year. The Desert Colt, man, that's the one where it's like none of the 4 years can have anything I really. They might have something I like, but it's really about trying to figure out how to create this chemical reaction, cancel out the existing flavors, and create new flavors. And I really think that's what people don't understand about blending. We used to get Kelvin barrels. MGP used to have everything. Now they only use independent stave for the palletized barrels, and Speyside for their side-filled rack barrels. And my contract is side-filled rack whenever possible. So 90% of my inventory is side-filled rack.
I'm not even asking these questions. I'm just throwing them out there for you. How about this one? Call it double barrel instead of double oak.
Well, it is 2 barrels. You know, I don't know. That's yeah.
I mean, I don't think
Yeah,
there's any.
that
I don't think there's any law against calling it a double barreled instead of a double oak.
man,
I
there
don't
ain't
think
laws for
there's.
shit.
You
That's
know.
like that's going back to when I started and everybody lying about where their bourbon comes from. Everybody was lying about everything. Like if you read the back of one of my the bourbon barrel, I kept it the same, like the barrel pick bottles, like beyond single barrel. The flavor profile will never be repeated again. Like when you read that now, it's like, yeah, no shit, dude. It's a single barrel. But you gotta understand, in 2016, when I did the first single barrels, or maybe it was 2017, the sales reps for my distributor didn't want to sell them because there are only 23 cases. And they're like, well, this isn't worth our effort. I was like, well, it's a 9-year single barrel. Like, what do you expect to get out of it? And they're like, well, this brand's 150 cases. I was like, how the fuck do you get 156 packs out of a 53-gallon barrel? Like, you can't even get that on day one, let alone like any type of loss over the years. And none of it was real. They were barrel pick programs, and like they were blends. They were just blends, and you got a barrel with it, and that's what made it a barrel pick. And I remember complaining about it to the buyer of Total Wine at the time for Nevada. I said, dude, I can't believe this shit. And he was like, well, big brands just come with a roll of stickers. And they're like, what, how many cases you want in your barrel pick? I'm like, I don't know, 100. And they just put stickers on stuff that's on the shelf because there is no legal definition for barrel pick. And like,
Hmm.
the Desert Colt, the reason I called that full strength is because no one knows what barrel proof or barrel strength or cast strength or full proof or any of that means because there is no legal definition. And so you can call anything cast strength or barrel proof. And like I'll see guys in bourbon groups like, oh, barrel strength means this, and cast strength means this, and full proof means this. I'm like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't mean anything. And so I just like I put full strength, no water added, no water added. So it's like there's no. I mean the thing because when I called uncut unfiltered, I was like, well, uncut's technical. So you can't lie. But now you can because of Tito's, because Tito's won the lawsuit that his brand name is Tito's. Like when you apply for a label, like small batch. The brand name's Smoke Wagon. The fanciful name, and that's how they describe it on the TTV website, is small batch. And so Tito's was saying, well, no, it's Tito's handmade vodka. Handmade means nothing. It's just our fanciful name. So
Hmm.
now, so that's it, so it's like, well, now you can lie about uncut. And the crazy thing is, like, if you have a bourbon, you can't put bourbon in your fanciful name. But if you have like a blended whiskey, which is like vodka and flavorings and whatever, you can call it like Harold's bourbon bacon flavored whiskey because it's not a bourbon, so you can put bourbon in your fanciful name because it's just
It's just government shit, right? Hey, look at here. I don't know if you know Thomas Anderson, but now that Anthony has to help get his kids to bed, he says distributors are the problem.
not,
That's funny.
distributors don't make it easy. Those guys, they're a small distributor. They're pretty easy to work with. Like being national with Southern definitely has its pros. Like we got into every Publix in Florida. We got into a Safeway in Arizona, and it did so well that we're getting into more. We're getting into like big like hotel chains and things like that. But man, it's like every time your proof changes, it's a new item number with them. And so I found out that Texas was totally out of Desert Colt. And I was like, what the fuck? And it's because they were trying to order the old item number and not the new proof. And it's just, being a small brand, it's hard. You just got to stay on top of everything.
I think anything you deal with the government is tough. Hey, I know you need to go eat. It's like what 7:30 out there at your place. Do you have time to? We'd like to play a little game here called Lightning Round, and it's just like the first thing that comes to your head. You don't have to be technical and whatever. Just like if I say,
Yeah. I mean, does anybody have any questions? I don't know what the chat looks like.
well, I've asked them, and I put some questions out there for you there just a second ago with like Will and
Yeah,
all
it's
them.
crazy.
They
I
kind of
saw the Desert Colt thing, and it's just so funny because when I first did Uncut the Younger before I changed it to Desert Colt, I just was like, man, I got to get this out. And I didn't have enough 4-year to do a bunch of it. And so it was limited. And retailers were charging like $80 or $90 for it. And I was like, this is supposed to be like back then, Uncut the Younger was supposed to be like $45. But yeah, Desert Colt. I am looking for consistency in the batches. The path to get there is always changing. I would not say that I'm trying to make them taste exactly the same, but I have a specific philosophy for how I want each one to taste. Like I want small batch to be fruit forward. I want the 7 and 9 year to come like mid palate, but it's gotta be short because at that price point it has to have a wide audience, and so I want it to finish soft like honey, cinnamon spice, baking spice, stuff like that. The white label, it's got to be fruity. It's got to be low oak. There's definitely like when I try it, I'm like, yes, that is the flavor I want. Whether or not it tastes exactly like the batch before, maybe not, but I know it has an accessible flavor profile that everyone's going to like. And same with Desert Colt. Desert Colt, I try to knock out all the oak. And it's funny because like people come, I have seen it where there's people that are totally new to bourbon and they like Desert Colt better than the white label, even though it's 118 to 120 proof. And it's a weird phenomenon because nothing's chill filtered. And so the white label has water added. And so water like on a chemical level, it brings ethanol to the surface, it brings flavors to the surface, but it also dilutes the density. And so there's people that think the white label, it's a very small percentage, is hotter than like the Desert Colt. And they can't believe the Desert Colt's the proof, it's proof. And so I like have all those shirts say like, don't be a little bitch, drink full strength Desert Colt. But it's irony because I blend it to be accessible. I want that to be someone who's trying to cast strength for the first time and they don't really taste the ethanol. And the crazy thing is that tannins and oak spice and all those oak flavors, those are a harshness that people who don't drink a lot of bourbon perceive as ethanol burn.
right.
And a lot of people on Instagram who have bourbon in their name, what I discovered in 2021, because everyone was talking shit about Uncut Unfiltered, saying it got younger. And so I was like, well, fuck it. I'm going to do like 10 batches in a row where it's just all old stuff. And they were all like, oh my God, it's so harsh. And for me, it was like, dark chocolate and all these flavors. But because they don't actually like bourbon, old bourbon, it was harsh to them. And they were like, oh, well, that's youth. It's like, no, man, that's age. Like bourbon does not
Right.
get as smooth as it gets. It's not scotch. It's aged in a new barrel with varying winters and summers. It picks up a lot of oak, and And
That's like with me and my moonshine or whatever. It's people like, hey, I want to take I want to sample this, and you give them like the hearts, and they're like, God, that doesn't taste like moonshine. So it's like, okay, well, I'll give them the heads instead.
watch them
Make
go
them,
blind and die.
make them appreciate the good shit.
Yeah, but I remember in North Carolina. Oh, so my favorite. I don't really have a go-to cigar. I smoke a lot of Black Label Trading Company. A lot of the Tatuaje limited releases, Foundation. Um, man, I can't remember the two new ones that I went to the shop and he was like, "Try these," and I loved them. I bought a box
That's
of one of them.
okay.
I
I know
smoked them.
Steve. Steve doesn't smoke cigars anyway.
Um,
I know him
okay,
personally.
the Halloween bottle that's coming out is actually the same one we did in 2024. And if you asked me which year I sold more Halloween bottles, last year or 2024, I would have said 2024 because last Halloween was the first um, Halloween where it was Southern nationally, and I just felt like the release got totally fucked up. But I don't have any of those left. But I have 1,400 12 packs of the 2024. So we must not. That was like during the transition period where like I wasn't really talking to distributors because I could give them a 30-day termination notice at any second. And so I thought we sold a lot of those, but we didn't sell any of them. We must have, and so because that's like we must have gotten a truck of it and only sold a couple hundred cases. And it's just weird because it just sort of shows how we've crossed over to general consumers. Because I've only seen one person bring me last year's Halloween bottle to have signed,
Hmm.
and we sold a shit ton of them. And it's kind of like the first barrel picks I ever did for Costco in northern Nevada, where like no one knew who the brand was, and it all just went to like regular people. And I've never seen one of those bottles. No one's ever asked me to sign one of those. I've never seen one on secondary, and that's kind of like how last year's Halloween bottles were. I guess just like regular people bought them, and so I never saw anybody posting about them or sharing them. And so I just figured we didn't sell any. But when I looked at my bottle inventory, I was like, holy shit, we got like, we got a whole truckload of these 2024s. So that it's the zombie guy coming out of the ground, that one.
Do you do a
But this is
different one every
this
year?
is,
You do a different
yeah. And,
bottle.
and this is it. This is like I redid the same 4th of July bottle. That one actually, we were out. I had to have remade, but it was just too late to do new artwork. Same with the Halloween bottle. Just it's been such a crazy year, but yeah. So I swear, I'm already starting working on the summer bottle for next year. That's like how far in advance you actually have to do it. And I
Wow.
just was traveling so much and just working out all the hiccups of going with Shaw Ross as our sales team and going with Southern. Just like we just lost track of time, and everybody had like the sales sheets already for like a year, and they're like, yeah, we pre-sold these summer bottles. I was like, oh, I was gonna do a new one. I guess they gotta like fucking give you a sales sheet in January to so. But I swear everything from now on is gonna be totally different,
All right, you heard it here first, folks. Aaron said it's going to be totally different.
except for this year. This year will be the
Yeah,
2024 one.
we're not going to count this year. Hey, let's play that lightning round, okay?
Okay,
This is my best. I love this part because it's just oddball shit questions. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Any
I
whiskey,
think
not yours, just any whiskey, neat or with a splash of water.
any whiskey.
Any whiskey. I mean, just any whiskey in general. Are you going to drink it neat, or sometimes you're going to put a splash of water in it?
I would do a cube before a splash of water, I think.
Okay, all right. Favorite bourbon under $50?
Oh, Desert Colt, full strength,
You
baby.
can't. No, hold on. You can't count your own.
I can't do my own.
I mean, you can, but you throw another one out there.
Probably what? How much is the regular release of Four Roses single barrel? That's under 50, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all relative. It depends on where you're at. In Arkansas, it might be. We're just gonna go with it. Okay, now favorite non-smoke wagon whiskey in general, no price limit.
Oh shit. Well, you can't get it anymore. The Kentucky Vintage 17 year. That shit was ridiculous. That was like I used to have that in my bar, man. I drank that all the time. I remember when I drank the last bottle of that, I was so bummed out.
See, that's why you needed to collect more bottles.
That's right.
Rye or bourbon? What's your go-to?
Bourbon.
Finished whiskey? Yes or no?
Fuck no. Never.
What
Never
is
ever.
what is always stocked at your home bar other than your whiskey? What is always on your home bar? If I go to your house, what am I going to get?
You're just gonna see my bourbon, man. It's fucking everywhere. It's on the kitchen counter. There's shelves of it. It's
Yeah.
I have so much of it. I have like, because especially during COVID, I would always bring like now I store all the batches here where I do the videos and everything. But during COVID, I would do all the batches. I try all the batches and everything at my house, and so man, it's just like everywhere.
I know.
I'm
I
trying to
used to
think if
have.
I do have some rare stuff. I still have a bottle of the first issue of Michter's. Uh, so what's the super rare one? Constellation Celebration.
Oh shit! I don't know. That's way probably before
The
my
one that's like
time.
$2,500. Well, it's $2,500 to me at the bar, so I don't know how much the retails
Mm.
were. I have a bottle of that. I got a few old bottles of Thomas H. Handy, um, and some other Buffalo Trace collection stuff because I used to buy it in the bar when nobody wanted it by the 3-pack. Like those are crazy times. You're
Yeah,
talking about Weller.
they
Like
may
we
be
used to
coming
have all.
back.
Yeah, we used to have all the Pappies, um, because after 0809, every other bar went to mixology, and I was like, we're just gonna have every brown spirit. It's like there's no need for mixology because it was like Prohibition era. I was like, you mean when everything tasted like shit? Everything's good now. Like you don't need that. And so we had all the Pappies. Like there was no 15 back then, because the there was definitely nothing younger than 15 because the contract with Buffalo Trace was 12 and younger was Weller. Anything older than 12 was Pappy. And man, nobody fucking liked any of it. And then it blew up and we couldn't get any more. And I had to convince people to drink Weller. I was like, it's the same thing. Just drink Weller. Like, I'm not drinking that stuff. It's terrible. I'm like, it's actually better, but
It's
whatever.
wheat. It's wheated bourbon. Drink it. Hey, what's the biggest bourbon myth that you know?
Older's better.
Okay. I was going to say, can I chime in on that one? I want to answer this
Yeah.
one. Kentucky limestone water. And then you find out it's all reversed osmosis. So what the hell?
Osmosis.
reverse RO. I was like,
That's
what the
what our
hell is
water is. You don't want us using city water, that's for sure.
what the hell is RO? All right, best distillery that you've ever taken a tour in.
I don't know if I've ever done a tour.
Well, you did one at MGP. You might as well just say
Yeah.
that one.
I guess that would be
Uh,
the best because that's the only one I've ever done.
I don't know. AI made these damn up. I didn't. Uh, if you could have a pour with anyone in whiskey history, who would it be?
Oh man, whiskey history. Shit. I don't know. Probably
You mean
somebody's dead because all the guys that
like
are
a
alive bum me out because they
Elijah
talk about it.
Craig, or the father of whiskey, bourbon, or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah, because like you listen to the modern guy, like, and they're all you're not modern like new, but like the guys are still alive, and they're like, I like to drink my bourbon with ginger ale, and you're just like, what the fuck are you talking about? But
Well, that's like
I
Elmer
don't
T.
know.
Lee. Elmer T. Lee drank his bourbon with a Sprite. So
Yeah. Um. Well, what Russell, right? He drinks it with ginger ale. Um. I don't know. I maybe Pappy. We have a lot in common because he was a rectifier. He didn't distill anything until like the very end when he
yeah, and I
created the.
mean, and he just worked there at Stitzel Weller, right?
Yeah, but
He didn't. He didn't.
his whole business model was sourcing barrels until he felt that rye was well. But then again, he doesn't like rye. Like he doesn't like rye and bourbon. I love rye and bourbon. I don't know. That's a tough one. We'll have to take a pass on that one.
We'll pass. Okay, and finally, what's the one bottle other than yours that people should not sleep on?
You know what? I don't even know if you can get it anymore. But the the Doc Swinson Blenders cut. And I
Hmm.
have a story about that one, okay? Because I did a trade show with them, and they were like, "Will you try all our finished bottles?" And I said, "I fucking hate finished bourbon. I don't want to." And they're like, "Will you try each one and tell us why you don't like it?" And I said, "Sure." And I did. And then I saw the Blenders cut, and I tried that. I was like, "This is fucking amazing. How much is this?" And it was like $45 or something like that retail. I was like, "This is incredible. This should be like your focus." And like, well, I mean, we just don't feel like it's anything special unless we finish it. I was like, you guys are out of your fucking minds. This is your brand. And then I was at a whiskey bar in Kentucky, and there was a sales rep, and he was like just giving them the finished products, and I was sitting there with my sales rep. I was like, "Do you have any of the Blenders cut?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I mean, I got it in my bag, but." And he was like, "Give him the fucking Blenders cut, dude." And he pulled it out, and he's all apologetic. He's like, "This is just so you know, like what we start with before we do the finished stuff." And this guy in Kentucky, he's like a famous bourbon bar. He's like one of the tastemakers. And he's like, I don't want any more fucking finished bourbon. He tried the Blender's cut. He's like, I'll take 2 cases of this.
Well,
And
I've had some Doc
so
Swinson, but I've never had the Blenders cut. What was
the Blender's
special
cut's
about
where it's
that?
at, man.
Was it just? It was just. It was not finished.
It was
Most of
not
Doc
finished.
Swinson is
It
finished,
was
so
really well balanced. Just a lot of great flavors.
cool. Aaron, it's been a pleasure talking with you, buddy.
Yeah,
You
you
go get
too.
you a big old steak dinner now.
I think you did great by yourself.
Thank you.
You don't need those other
You
guys.
know.
Just get
Here's
rid
the
of them.
thing. Here's the thing. Honestly, I don't know what the hell you see at the top of your screen, but I see it says June 25th. And I don't know why the hell it says that. So I started freaking out, and I'm like, I didn't see you in here. And I'm like, am I on like an old feed from like
I you
June
know, I
25th?
got I got sent a
Oh,
Google Meets um on an invite. It said join with Google Meets. And I don't know
that's weird.
why that is an option because if I scroll down, it shows the links to StreamYard and so but also I was having problems.
Well, I was
I
too.
brought my computer over here and everything I is start up off external hard drive and I forgot to plug in the hard drive. And so it was me being an idiot, but it kept starting up and it was like nothing there. I was like, what the fuck is happening? And
Well,
then I went to the Google Meet link. It's like nobody's here. And then Anthony,
and
he
that's what was weird because nobody was on my link. and I'm texting Anthony, and Anthony's like, "We're in there or whatever," and I'm like, "Well, shit, I'm not. I don't know where.
Oh, he
What the
must have
hell
been
is?"
in the Google Meet link also. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
where the hell that came. I actually got something too that said Google links or something. I'm like, I've been running this show for a damn year and a half almost, and it's like I've never had this problem. So I was almost like, "Fuck it, I'm just going to throw in the
I was
towel and I'm going to
sweating,
drink."
man.
And
I was like, these guys are going to think I flaked.
oh, I sent Anthony a message, and I'm like, "He's a no show. He didn't show.
No, I would never do that. I would
He
never be
didn't
a no
show up."
show.
And then come to find out, I don't. Yeah, I really don't know what happened. All of a sudden, I log out and I log back in, and y'all are all sitting there. Oh,
Yeah. I would never do that. Yeah, that
yeah.
no. You
You
guys are
know,
too
out
important.
of all of the damn shows that we've ever done, nobody, knocking on wood, has ever no showed, except like maybe me, like just you know, like tonight. I swear to God, I kept looking and it was like almost 8 o'clock, and I'm like, shit, I don't know what to do. I'm freaking out. So then when I got in here, I'm like, okay, I got to take a deep breath, settle down,
Well,
have a drink, you know.
yeah, because like that was the thing. The invite time. Oh man, I can't
See,
remember what
that's the
happened.
whole thing. Well, that's the whole thing. That's what I was talking with Anthony about. So I'm central time zone,
Right.
and I sent it to you on your calendar. Well, I don't think it adjusts for the damn for that because I go to Kentucky a
It
lot.
adjusted wrong. It said Thursday, August 6th at 6:30. I'm like, man, those guys do shit late. And then Anthony was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
you got it's 6:45 Central Time." I was like, "Oh, that makes more sense."
yeah. I don't know. I do that a lot. I go to Kentucky, and it's like you have a tour at Maker's Mark at 10 a.m. And I get over there, and it says now you have a tour at 11 a.m. And I'm like, was it at 10 or was it at 11?
Oh
And
yeah, well
you
yeah,
know,
that
shit.
happens to me when I travel. Like they'll send me an invite and be like, "You have this event at 2 p.m." I'm like, "There's no way it's at 2 p.m. That's on the East Coast. It's got to be at 5. There's no way we're starting at dinner at 2. You know."
Well, I mean, it depends. I've been known you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning, you know. All right, hey, it's good to see you again. I know you don't remember me, but I did meet you in Little Rock with Anthony when y'all came. Y'all did a I don't know.
Which dinner was that?
I don't remember which one it was. I don't even remember where it was, but we were at some
Man.
damn hotel. Y'all were in a big long table, and
Oh, right
Anthony's
next,
like,
right next to the hotel. The restaurant right next to the hotel.
it may have been. I don't remember. I don't know
I know
where
what
you
you're
were
talking
staying.
about. I
You
can't
mean
remember the name.
Anthony? You mean Anthony didn't like open up his house to you? What a shield! Jeez. No, I think you were
Oh
there for two
man.
nights. I think you met with one of the bourbon clubs one night at the place, and then us
Oh, and like a
near.
castle, and like that castle place or whatever, something like that.
Shit, I don't remember. It's been a
Yeah,
couple of years ago. So
dude, I travel so much, I can't.
you travel
eh,
as much almost as Jonathan Massano from K Luke. That dude is always on the road.
I'm always on the road. It's cool though because all the events are amazing.
Are you
That's
going?
the big.
Are you going to the Bourbon Fest this year? Do you do that?
No, no, I don't do that.
Yeah, they say
It's
it's crazy.
I'm sure it's crazy. The thing is for me, it's like I really try to. I do more like wine and spirits or food and spirits festivals because you just get so much more exposure. Um, Bourbon festivals, it's like everybody shows up and they're like, I've had all this. Do you have anything rare? I'm like, I had something rare at the VIP hour that you didn't pay for. It's gone
Right,
now, you know?
right.
I will say I did one in Missouri, and there was a lot of like people that went because kind of what I'm talking about, like general consumers moving into the space. But most of them, yeah, the wine and food festivals, man, you get introduced to like so many new people. Um,
Yeah, that aren't
Bourbon Fest.
hardcore bourbon junkies.
Yeah, I mean the Bourbon Fest are cool because you connect with fans more, uh, which I like to do. But I usually I can do that with dinners. I can do that with dinners and bottle signings at liquor stores and stuff like that. And so that's a lot more fun. The wine and food festivals are fun, man. It's like everybody's. I mean, I'm sure you guys see it. It's like I'm sure you've got the people in your group that you like, and you come in contact with other bourbon people, and you're like, oh my god, this guy's
Oh yeah,
sucking my life force out of my body. You know.
I understand. Hey, next time you're in Arkansas, you need to get Anthony to y'all come over to my house and we can drink a lot of this shit that's on the shelf here.
Make sure
We
it's all gone.
come to
You
my
know, you don't
speak
you don't have
come
to
to my
leave it to anyone.
speakeasy. You know what? What's bad is I've got more damn whiskey than I'll ever consume. Plus, I make. I've got four barrels out here right now that I'm just waiting to fill with my own juice. And I'm like, when I'm dead and gone, I hope my damn kid likes whiskey instead of beer. He's like a big beer drinker right now. He's may or may not be legal age, but I'm like, dude, you need to
It,
drink
it,
the spirits,
man,
because you'll have plenty of them to
I
inherit.
yeah, I'll tell you, I drank beer until my 21st birthday. And on my 21st birthday, everybody tried to get me like to puke, and that is when I discovered that I love spirits. Like I outlasted like beer. I'd get all sleepy. I puked more like young drinking beer than spirits. Spirits, I'd be like, oh yeah, shit, get me riled up, man. I was ready to go. Um,
It's really weird because I'm kind of the same way. Like I can drink like two beers and be like loopy.
yeah, I get
It's
tired
just
and
like
full.
I just don't handle beer very well. I just mainly do whiskey and like I said, the occasional Willie's Remedy, and I don't think that's for me. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
I yeah, you know, when I was younger, I used to smoke. It's kind of like everything. Like even now, when I drink, I don't drink that much because owning bars for so long, I, I got I lived like this whole life, where I never wanted to be home. I never wanted to be sober. I'd leave the house at like 9:30 with my sunglasses, knowing I was going to get home at 11 in the morning. And then one day, and I think a lot of it too, the reason I told myself it was okay is because I never felt like I deserved to have fun. And then when I got my first bar open and I bought a house, I was like, okay, I'm not a fuck up. I think I deserve to have fun. And then I had a bar. And then I had a bar in fucking Vegas. And man, I had all the fun. And then, like one day I looked in the mirror and I was like, "Ugh, if I keep going like this, yeah."
it's gonna
and,
catch
and
up to
then
you, isn't it?
yeah, and then I realized I wasn't having fun because the age difference between me and the average customer was so vast that like there was nothing. It's like what am I gonna like go pick up? Try to. I'm not gonna try to pick up any of the chicks who are too young and like there's nothing to talk to anybody about because
Aaron,
you
me
know
and you are kind of like, I guess, kind of alike because yesterday on Facebook I said, "Does anybody like to go home at 7:30 while it's still daylight outside, slip inside the damn bed and lay there in a cold air conditioned room?"
yeah,
Because I'm like, that's where
fuck
I'm at
yeah,
right
dude.
now. I'm like, I'm
Oh.
54. I just want to fucking go to bed, and like be cool and not sweat. And
Yeah, like I used to hate going to the casinos because I'd eat dinner at like 10:30. Now I love them because they eat dinner at 5. It's like I roll up, I valet park, there's nobody there. Even like you always get a table or you can sit at the bar, and no matter what you do, you're like home by 9:30. You know,
I know, and that's just getting old. Hey, Aaron,
Well, I think you have to.
I gotta cut you off. You know why? Because my damn battery is about dead. I've drained the whole
Okay.
fucking battery. If I don't cut you off, the battery gods will.
All
I'm
right.
way
Well, you have a
down.
good evening.
You too,
Hope you had a
buddy.
good turnout.
You know what? We had a good amount of people on here. Which, if you think 30 something is good, it's not good. But where our
It's
bread and butter is mainly like on replays. You know, people will come back and they'll watch the replay, and we average like 400 a week, maybe for that next week of people watching. So
hey
we
man,
do it live. You know, we're taped in front of a live audience, as you say.
it's like, dude, I don't. For me, I just like doing it, and I mean, look, my YouTube doesn't get shit for views, but it,
Really?
yeah,
Well, I know several of
I
us
think it's going
watch
to
it. So
change because I'm going to start bringing someone with me to film events and stuff like that. And that's
yeah.
significantly more, me talking like talking head, like talking about blending and stuff like that. I think it's just a limited audience. And there's so many bourbon pages like that. And so I think when people actually get to see insight into the industry and what these events are like and things like that, it's a
Yeah,
little more,
that would be a little more unique to like
yeah.
you're saying. I mean, it's either hunt videos or, and I hate doing hunt videos, or live live shows like this.
Yeah.
They've really, in the last year, they've really sprouted. Everybody's got a damn live show now. So anyway, hey, I appreciate you coming on.
You bet.
Uh, and like I said, next time y'all bring a barrel to Sam Rad over there at 5 Star, and hell, I got four or
Okay.
five guys that can get together and help
Yeah, we're
steer
doing
steer
picks.
steer Sam
So
in the
they're
right
going to be 10
direction.
years old pretty soon. 10-year-old, 36% rye.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Aaron, for coming on
You bet.
tonight. Everybody, we've been dropping links. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but they've been dropping links to your webpage all night. So hopefully you'll sell a couple extra bottles.
I'm just happy to be on.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and we'll chat next time we see each other.
All right, right on. You
All
have a good
right.
evening.
See you. Thanks. All right. Well, this is part of the show where I usually get on here and talk about a few things, but hey, man, I'm going to cut it short tonight. I got two things I need to tell you people out there in the world. One of which is this right here. Our Lexington Legacy, $59.99 out the door, or shipped for a little bit more, $20 each. So follow that Venmo. Really, go to our page, the Bourbon Legends, on YouTube. I'm sorry, Facebook. That's where we really need you guys to go. That's where we're going to be putting out all these little exclusive things that we do. And instead of trying to hawk this thing during the show, it's just there. It's always there. You can just scan whatever. But yeah, that's getting ready to come in here. Josh over at Buster's is busting his butt trying to talk to the distributor to try to nail down the exact time we're going to get this. We're not for sure when it's going to be, but hey, it's going to be close. So anyway, jump on that. And second of all, I want to push. Whoa, there we go. The Hard Truth pick that we did with the Amberana finish, man, that is a good bottle. Even if you do not like Amberana, you need to try this bottle because it is just the right amount of Amberana. If you like that cinnamon toast crunch flavor, but that it's not overly sweet. It's not one of those things that you can only have one drink of it and as a dessert finish, and you say, that's it, I can't do any more. So if you want to get a hold of that, I know some other channels are pushing that to help Alex out there at Red Barrel Liquors. This is our pick. Jump in there, and there again, it's on our Discord page. It's also going to be on our Facebook page, The Bourbon Legends. Just search for it. and hop on there, or you can point your phone right now to that little Venmo, and you can get you a bottle there. So anyway, let me get back out of here. Man, I'm tired. I went to work at 6 o'clock this morning. I was on the lawnmower at about 6:15. So you know what? I'm not going to sit here and bullshit anymore. I think we've done enough of that for the rest of the night. So thank you for being here, watching us, supporting us, hitting that like button. Be sure and hype the video tomorrow around noon. This video will be out. The more you hype it, the more that exposure we get, and we really do appreciate that. And just go out there and be legendary. Have a good weekend. Drink responsibly. Like Aaron was saying there, and I have to agree with him, man, we don't have but one life. Let's not drown it all in alcohol. So let's do it in moderation. And if you don't want to do it in moderation, that's your liver, not mine. Anyway, folks, good to see you. Tune in next week, same time, same channel. We've got an exciting guest. Let me pull it up real quick on my phone because I have his name here. It's not a super heavy hitter, if you will, but I like those. I like to get into people's heads that, not everybody knows everything about them. Pete Thompson next week from Burnt Church Distillery. And so it's a super small craft distillery. We're going to get in and we're going to find out what it's all about. My battery's about to die. So anyway, go out and have a good weekend. Good night, everybody.
Pour one more for the stories we've told of barrels and bottles and whiskey gold. From grain to glass, through fire and flame, every pour's got a legend's name.